Hello, welcome back. First up, before we get started, 'cause this is gonna be a dope tutorial. First off, I want to check with you guys, see how you been. Obviously, I can't see you, but I hope you guys are all doing great. I know it's some crazy times, crazy start to the year, right? Corona going around. You guys, hope you guys are staying safe. My family's good. I'm great. The shop that I'm at, actually the county, they shut down all barber shops, so haven't been able to cut hair. So it'll be about 2 weeks as of now. So I'm gonna just drop YouTube videos. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed that new segment I just dropped as well, the game-changing conversations and cuts. I love it. I plan on dropping a new one every 2 weeks, but with the shutdown right now, I can't shoot and record. But yeah, this tutorial was actually shot on my phone in 4K. Hopefully, it came out pretty good. I like it. The look is a little different than I'm used to, but the cut came out great. He's getting a taper fade. First full haircut in 3 years. So after I mess with him, I'm about to make a little joke with him right here. I'll be back to explain more in depth about the cut. Nothing hit the floor. Bro, that's amazing. Did you not, nothing?
A little sad, like, you want to say goodbye? Tell you love it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Almost 3 years.
3 years? Oh! 3 years? Oh, well, I didn't know you for that long. I just met you, but he cared for you, so I care for you. We wish you well, and I'm gonna slow. All right? You good? Okay. Let's get. Hey, cut to me fresh. I promise. All right. Well, so you got. Yeah. You can tell he had braids. See, I always see that permanent indentation right there. So I'm gonna show you guys some ways you can take that out.
Okay, so like I said, this young man hasn't had a full haircut in 3 years. The top of his head hasn't been cut in 3 years. If you look at his hair, you can see that he's kind of rocked the same braid pattern a lot because those lines are pretty deep in there. So I'm going to show you guys ways to remove them as best as possible. I think I did a pretty good job of getting them out there for the initial cut. A question that I often get on my social media is, how do I get haircuts that are major transformations or they haven't had a haircut in a long time? How do I get them to look so neat, so fast? And the answer for me is hot lather. What happens is when you swirl those cuticles up with any hot material, especially hot water, which is the universal solvent, it helps the hair be more manageable and maintained. That's how you tame the hair. On water, there's no magic to it, patience and water. So I'll show you guys some techniques on how I do that. And also, let's see, so I'm starting off with the 1.5. As you can see, that white guard is a 1.5. The reason why I start with the 1.5 is because it's the safety guard. He hasn't had a haircut in a while on top. His hair has so many different growth patterns right now, front, side, back. And with that, if you use a smaller guard, you can nick the hair, patch the hair. So to be safe, I start with a larger guard. Some difficulties that I had while doing this taper fade was that he hasn't had a haircut in so long. So when I cut the hair down, it actually clumped up in a few places. So if you look right under his occipital bone right there on the side of his head, you'll see that the hair is so much thicker in those spots. And I had to figure out a way to make sure that I made that hair nice and neat and even by the end of the cut. So you'll notice that as I cut him, I'm not too much concerned with making sure the taper is perfect from the get-go. Because what I'm going to do is initially taper the hair, then I'm going to put the hot lather on top of his head to lay it down to get that growth pattern. And I want it to all be symmetrical, right? The hair on the side, I want it to lay the same way. The hair in the back, I want it to lay the same way. So right now, as you can see, I'm manipulating the hair with a smaller guard to kind of debulk on my initial pass. Then after I lay that hair down and manipulate it with the warm water, then I'll come back and retouch some of those areas. So, when a client hasn't had a haircut in a long time, it takes patience. It takes a lot of patience because you're going to have thicker spots. You're going to have different growth patterns. Like if you look at his crown right there, it grows to the side, it grows to the front, it grows down because he's had braids. So these transformations just take time and patience. All right, so just manipulation. The clippers that I'm using, so I put my primary line in with the edges. This is my secondary line. The reason why I do a primary and secondary line is because it gives me a neat workspace. Whenever you're doing a haircut, it makes it easier when you have a needle workspace. Whether it's a long layer and you section the hair off, or a short layer haircut like this, you always want to section the layer. All right, so the primary line was done with my edges, which is that bottom bald line, or the straight across line, that's bald. The secondary line, which is this line right here, which leads into the hair, is my secondary line. I'm done with my magic clip. I love the magic clip, strong motor. I'm very smooth clipper. But yeah, again, so I'm doing this because I want to have a nice, neat workspace. After I put these primary and secondary line in, I'm going to take that primary line out. See right here, with my Babyliss FX. The reason why I use the Babyliss FX, the Babyliss FX has the motor of a Walls Magic Clipper Senior, but it has the blade of a of an Andes Master. The Seniors and the Magic Clip has a surgical blade, which is a flat top blade. The Masters have a curved blade, which help prevent snagging on more thicker pore type hair. All right, so that's the reason why. All have strong motors, but it's just that blade cover or the top blade is preferable for me on this clipper. If you watch my thumb on my left hand, if you can see, I'm stretching the skin. The reason why I stretch, very important. So anytime you do any kind of work, right, the more workspace you have, it's easier to work. Same thing with the taper fade, right, especially because it's usually in a condensed, smaller area. Now, I could have taken that secondary line high, but that would look horrible on the fade. So the way I compensate that is by stretching with my opposite hand, right? I stretch and comb. I get the same effect of a larger workspace when I stretch the skin. So that's kind of a tip why, and as you can see, I'm just tapering right now. So you guys watching, I'll be back soon. Okay, so now it's time to tackle some of these thick areas and to debulk. So two things. So debulking is when you thin the hair out so that way you can fade the hair easier. Now, one thing to remember when cutting hair is about patience. Like, you never panic. So a lot of haircuts, I get that I'm lucky to they all work smoothly. I do my 2 sections, I taper, I go. Some areas require more work. Like I said, look at the crown of his head. Look at where I'm tapering now. It's not that I'm cutting the hair thicker and thinner in some spots. It's just his hair has been so long. His hair grows different. Now I have to find ways to combat that. When I'm cutting the hair, right, so I might want the hair to go straight down. But if the hair is growing or laying at a hard angle, I have to respect that and cut at that angle. I can do whatever I want after I get that fade in there, but I noticed a lot of barbers try to cut the way they want the hair to go. You have to respect the hair. Now, all these thin spots you see in the back, they will disappear once I lay it down with warm water, and then I go back and debulk those areas. Right now, I'm just taking my time. I stick to my steps, no matter what it looks like. I stick to my steps, and I follow my techniques. Technique gets you through all situations, right? So I'm taking my 1 guard right now, and I'm debulking again. First I debulked with my 1.5. Now I'm debulking with my 1. I'm using a round brush. I love this brush. It's thick. It has wide bristles, or it has spaced out bristles like a comb, but it's still a brush. So those wide bristles are in groups or clumps of thicker bristles. So I can lay the hair and space the hair at the same time. All right. So now I'm using my masters, and I'm tapering each side, and I'm just working my angles. I want to blend this together. I'll put my initial fade in, then I'll come back at the end after I clean it all up and edge it, and I'll refade it again. All right, so you guys stick around, and I'll see you soon. Same technique on the side. That's my youngest daughter. Hey, Leah. Same technique. I'm using my 1 right now to debulk, and I'll follow those same steps. So I'll see you guys soon. Okay, so now that I got this taper pretty much in, not fully, I'll go back and perfect it later or get it as close to perfection as I can. You can now see that how thick it was behind the ear. The hair is still very dense. So what I'm gonna do eventually, once I get this fade in, I'm gonna go back and debulk that area so that it can all go well. You never panic during a taper. Like, I'm not worried at all right now. This is the hot lather technique I told you about. This is what you get the hair to, you manipulate the hair. Hot lather the whole hair. You can get a latherizer. Costs about $150. It's basically just hot shaving cream. I put it all over the hair, right? This is my technique, my secret, right? Then I still come back with the gel to lay that hair down. The gel is weighted, so it actually helps lay the hair down as well. Then I put my warm rag, get a hot rag, put it in the oven, the microwave for about 15-30 seconds. Get it nice and hot, and that'll help me manipulate the hair as well. Remember, he hasn't had a haircut on top in 3 years, so there we go. Then wrap it, let it sit 15-20 seconds. Then after I press it, massage it in there, then it'll help me manipulate and brush the hair better. All right, it won't be perfect, but it'll be much better than when it first started. All right, and if you have to do it 2 or 3 times, you can do it 2 or 3 times, but you'll see the difference once I get this hair nice and finalized. All right, see you guys soon. Okay, so now that we have that initial taper in there, it's time for the good stuff, the edge up. So as you can see, before I start the edge up with the razor, I apply some gel. Again, gel is weighted, helps lay the hair down, the hair doesn't run. Usually when you edge up with the trimmers, the hair can the vibration of the clippers can actually make the hair withdraw. But with the gel, it lays the hair down. So I'm kind of generous in my application of the gel, just so that the hair doesn't move. Again, I'm stretching the scalp. I'm stretching it away and towards me. It kind of keeps the hair neutral, but it gives me a nice flat surface to work with. As you can see, a nice curve. Keep it nice and natural. He hasn't had a edge up in a while, but I still want to make sure that I do my job, my due diligence, to find the most natural area. Even in the front, those little baby hairs. See, one thing I learned about babies' hairs, they're only baby until you edge them up. Once you edge them, they're just as thick almost as the more dense areas. Now, almost, but, take that within context. But see, so I'm not gonna push it all the way back to the thinner spots. I'm gonna leave it nice and natural, and when it's all said and done, it's gonna look beautiful. All right, so remember, you can still see some of those thicker, bulkier areas on the taper, but I'm gonna come back at the end and resolve all those issues, okay? It's about getting the primary part of the haircut done. I once over everything. I once over the taper, once over the edge up, then I come back and I do secondaries. It's called the finish up. That's the difference between a great haircut and a good haircut. Some guys, the first pass is the only pass, but great, true, elite craftsmen, barbers, they take multiple passes. Now, when you take multiple passes, you don't taper more or higher, or you don't edge higher or more or push back. You just finalize or refresh what you've already done. All right, so you guys watch, and I'll be back soon. Okay, so same concept with the back taper. You don't want to go too far in. Try to find where the hair grows thickest to its furthest point out, you kind of put like a slight angle. I don't go straight down. I kind of go in towards the middle. When I use the corner of the clipper, just keep it natural. Another thing I noticed for me that when I apply less pressure with the edges, I get a better cut and it's less irritating to the skin. As you can see here, I actually switched to the Slimline Pros because those gold FX edgers are really strong. And if the client has sensitive skin, it's not best to use them. His skin is good. I just didn't want to take the chance. He's younger, got the baby face, baby skin. And now this is what my cleanup work. When we talked about the cleanup work, I'll do a few passes. You see me clean up now. I'll also clean up later. So you guys watch, and I'll be back shortly. Alright, so I'm pretty much about to repeat the same steps and procedures on this side. So I'm going to let you guys watch. I hope you guys enjoy. So make sure you stick around so you can see the dramatic change at the end. I'll show the before clip when it's here, how he came in and how he left. Hope you guys learned something today. I might have another big lock transformation. She had her hair for a really long time, and I can't wait to drop this one. So I'll probably drop it in about a few days. You guys enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. Comment, like, subscribe. In the comments, let me know what you want to see next, if anything, and what you want to learn, or just chop it up with me. All right. So I'll see you guys soon. Watch. Stay to the end. GameChanger out. Out. Young chef, I'm finishing up right now.